Hello and welcome to the show. This is Do All the Things. On today's episode, the Seymour Duncan HyperSwitch. When I found this thing existed, I needed to try it. So let's check it out. The Seymour Duncan HyperSwitch. It is a Bluetooth connected guitar switch. And it's not what you think. It's not like an interface. It's not like a digital emulator. What do they call those things now? Impulse, where you load guitar tones onto it. It's not one of those. It's a switch. It's a programmable switch. Hook up all your pickups to it, and then supposed to be on your phone app, you can configure what the different switch positions do. That is a very interesting concept to me. Being a guy who likes to rewire his guitars all the time, I figure at the very least, I can use it to prototype. I can use it to, slap into a new build or something and then be able to configure like, oh, maybe I like this sound, maybe I like that sound. Then when I figure out what sounds I like, then I can hardwire them. How this thing works? Well, I couldn't tell you. I would imagine it has some sort of like digital mixer in it that's just programmed to just route signals. Hopefully it's transparent. Depending on the kind of sounds that you like to go for, that could be important. I don't even like having pedals between my guitar and amp that don't have hard bypass. Depending on what amp I'm playing, I can kind of feel and hear the difference. Even though some people will probably laugh at me for that, I don't care. But I haven't even opened this yet. I took it out of the package. So let's see. It's the typical Seymour Duncan case that you get for their pickups. Don't see any reason why they wouldn't do that. It's funny, there was no seal on it. That just slipped off. That just popped off. No little piece of tape or anything. Oh, comes with the battery clip, that's good. Looks like a decent quality battery clip. Plastic cover, full coverage. Battery clip's already wired up. Ooh, nice. It doesn't just come with the stupid default white. Sometimes you buy a new switch, you get the white, and then you get the big top hat like the frickin' Telecasters, and then it's useless for anything else. These screws are a red flag. So this switch is a metric standard. This position feels a bit squishy here, but otherwise it has a pretty healthy click. Yeah, this is a metric standard switch. Okay, whatever. Black tops are common for that. We got a little screwdriver. Really? You're kidding. So we have these terminal blocks. The screwdriver barely fits in the terminal block holes. That's kind of silly. We got to force it in there. Okay, maybe that could have been done better. They come pre-closed, it appears. We need to loosen them up all before we can put it in there, which is going to be annoying with this screwdriver that doesn't fit well. So we're already going to have to go grab ourselves an aftermarket screwdriver. We've had this thing 2 minutes and we're already aftermarket upgrading it. I guess it's cool that they closed these. They're not going to rattle. Huh, I am noticing something. So we have connections across these 3 here and only 3 here. That's switching, right? Like, I don't know. I can't imagine that they would actually send audio signal through this switch. Surely this just tells the computer what's doing what. And we don't have to depend on this to switch our tones, because this thing has multiple tone connections. Like if we bust over to the wiring diagram, tells us what's doing what here. We have tone 1 and tone 2. Now I would like to think that this thing could be configured for universal tone, surely. And if those tones work the way I think they do, I'm gonna be able to hack on this thing. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, this thing's missing certain features. But yeah, the wire's already on there. So that means if we give this pupper power, we should be able to connect to it right away. And one thing you notice with this guy is it's not designed to be wired to the input jack to turn it on and off, like say an EMG or whatever. I think one of the reasons why they do that, perhaps this thing has volatile memory, and if you disconnect the battery, it's going to forget the settings. But some of these devices, these microcontroller devices, are so low standby power, even without turning them off, a battery is going to last forever. All right, so that said, let's see if we can't intimidate it. One of my first comments is, if you want to appeal to professional users, I would probably appreciate a PC app too. Now, one of the good things so far, Seymour Duncan, can you calm the frick down? You're not gonna ask me to make an account every time. Okay, Seymour Duncan, don't ask me to make an account every time I open the app, please. I appreciate that you don't make me make an account so far. This needs to calm the frick down. Like, this is not necessary, and it's using battery for no reason. I'm buying a tool here, not a frickin' light show. Oh, I probably need to turn my Bluetooth on. I think I'm gonna have to RTFM. DL the app, done. Enable Bluetooth, launch app, move the switch to wake it up. Oh, I might have done this in the wrong order. Okay, so how do we... Okay, let's try this again. Move it to wake it up. Connect. What the frick? I pressed connect and it closed. Okay, really? I have to deal with that freaking epileptic seizure and this sign-in process every time I open the app? What the f? HyperSwitch keeps stopping. We're off to a great start. The app keeps crashing. It doesn't show up in a normal Bluetooth scan. Okay, let's try something else here. I have a wonky phone. Let's try it small screen. Nope. Okay, apparently this isn't happening. Okay, so I have a backup phone, a more normal phone. Like, okay, we live in 2025. Having a spare phone, an old phone kicking around that you could use for dedicated, like, this kind of purpose is not unheard of. So, not a deal breaker thus far. All right, here we go. Still with the epileptic seizures. Seymour Duncan, get rid of this. No, I don't want you to access my location. Okay, once again, I forgot to turn on Bluetooth, so I turned on Bluetooth. It doesn't seem to be able to, failed to connect. Move back and forth 2 or 3 times, make sure HyperSwitch is on. Move back and forth 2 or 3 times, make sure HyperSwitch is on. Skip, what the? Device inactive. What? Do you need to access my location? Like, sanity check. Yeah, the wiring matches here. Sanity check. That's some tasty frickin' battery, bud. Sanity check. Oh, well, like, really, that should be fine. Okay, let's try a different battery. Move the switch. No device is found. It automatically goes to failed to connect. Okay, what happens if I allow location? Still failed to connect. Oh, wait, it's searching now. Oh, you mean you refuse to connect unless I give you my location? Okay, well, at least they didn't frickin' ask us to make an account. Aha, well, that's okay. It's detecting what positions I'm on. And it has a specific orientation. It insists that, okay, I guess this makes sense. If we were installed into a pickguard like this, now, say, okay, this is one tone. Make it, oh wow. So we can assign it all the same tone. Turn off that tone, turn on this tone, make it that tone. It keeps reverting. Save. Okay, make it that tone, save. Okay, standard, reverse, reverse polarity, and off. Okay, we're series mode. Say I wanted this position here to be this pickup, turn off that pick. What the? Why is it glowing? What's glowing mean? Glowing means reverse. Turn off this one. Turn on this one. Now, how do I set it into series? You know, like 4-way Telecaster wiring? That's one of my favorite things to do, especially on an HH guitar. Get one coil here, one coil there. I'm guessing we could change these coils. How do we change the coil? Press and hold? No. Device settings? Tone knobs, 2, 1. Can I add a third tone knob? No. Sleep timer, switch reverse. Oh, okay, we could change the orientation. That'll be good. Bluetooth timer, device firmware upgrade, nothing. Pickup settings, stacked. That's for imaging. I can't see a whole hell of a lot of difference between just humbuckers, humbuckers, and humbuckers. So let's set 2 humbuckers. Get rid of the single coil. There it goes. Save. All right, north, south. That's good. That gives us the ability to select which coils. Seymour Duncan does seem to have the orientation correct. I would appreciate if they drew the little screws on there. Standard, well, we need to know what RP and RPRP means. And you know, I don't know, the way it wired here, it's like you connect the center tap. So it's like the fact that it can do maybe reversing one coil out of phase. So it'll put the, it's doing that artificially. It's gotta be. Because it can't, you'd have to physically swap the way this wire, or maybe it does it on the ends. Okay, so RP is out of phase coils in parallel, reverse parallel. Out of phase reverse coils wired in parallel with coil that starts hot. Okay, so I guess that's just gonna affect how it interacts with other pickups, because I don't see a whole heck of a lot of difference between these two. They're just taking the phase from one side or the other side. Okay, so it's offering us a lot of options. That's good. Except there's no series mode. It's not giving me the option to stick the two pickups in series. And like, you know, that's a software switch. If they can do things like flip the phase of one frickin' coil, then they can frickin' take it and wire it in series with another. Well, maybe they can't. Maybe it's all parallel internal. In fact, that kind of would make sense, because my first guess on how they accomplish this is that's probably like a mini mixer DAW, you know? Like, you can buy mixer boards now that are digital and you use them as interfaces for your computers, and they have parallel channels. And the programming can do all sorts of different things with those channels and how it mixes them together. If you want to reverse the phase of a channel, that's not a big deal. And I'm imagining they probably took a jelly bean component. They didn't custom make this for this switch. This is probably an existing mixer DAW Bluetooth interface that exists already, and it's simply a little mini mixer board, and it's taking the pickups, and instead of having knobs and gain knobs, that's all preset, and it's just taking the different channels, mixing them, routing them to the output. Mixers typically don't have features that allow you to wire two channels in series, so that sucks, because that is a setting that I really like, and if Seymour Duncan can fix that in software, I would appreciate it. The battery is low, 60%. Oh, is this thing gonna chug phone battery? Because yeah, I think it's gone down 10% since as I was saying, the only other feature here that's obviously missing is push-pull. Seen here is a very typical SSH guitar. And one significant feature that all SSH guitars tend to have is this, right? And what's that do? So right now we have the 3 pickups, but that's a humbucker. What if we don't want that to be a humbucker? What if we want to convert this to a Strat? Well, that's what this does. We pull this knob, it splits this pickup, turns it into a single coil, and then we have a 3 single coil guitar like a Strat. And I can get Strat tones out of this. This needs to have that feature. Now, with all the connections that you have for pickups here, being able to accommodate humbuckers, if you have SSH or even HSH, you have at least one open position on there. I would like to think that Seymour Duncan could program it in the software to use pick a spare position, maybe in an advanced settings, connect that to a switch. It can detect, say, the lack of signal or a ground, right? Maybe that channel just detects that there's a duplicated signal where there's not supposed to be any signal. It doesn't route that signal into the mix, but it recognizes that as being switch on, but then it can detect if that signal's grounded out. And then it knows you flick the switch, and it knows to select between 2 different profiles. That's the only thing I'm immediately seeing missing in this software that I think is absolutely necessary for them to add to it for this to be a serious professional device, is the ability to, without using the app, switch between 2 profiles. That way, when you're ripping and in the zone, oh, sorry, I'm mid-song now and I want to go to a clean run with a little bit of quack. Oh, sorry, audience. Hold up. I need to change the settings on my guitar. Yeah, come on. Like, you gotta be able to do that in software without revising the hardware. You gotta be able to. There's gotta be a way. That said, I'm honestly disappointed there's no series mode either. Now, for good measure, we're gonna end this video here, and in the next video, I'm actually gonna wire it into a guitar and test it out. So, stay tuned for that. All right,